probable with her back. Sophie Cunningham, questionable right elbow. When the hell did that happen? When did that pop up? Did it pop up after she posted that graphic from Evelyn about going rogue on her Instagram and Caitlin Clark commented on it? Is that when this happened? Indiana Fever? Everybody knows that you guys are attempting to punish Sophie Cunningham. We all know it. We all see it. This is ridiculous. Look at the first comment, Evelyn. You guys are a clown organization. Here it says, Sophie hurt her elbow writing this for Stephanie White, didn't she? This is what Sophie Cunningham had. I will not pass to Caitlin again. I will not pass to Caitlin Clark again. This is what they forced Sophie Cunningham to do. Okay, that's how she hurt her elbow. CDS Sports, go rogue, win game, end up on injury report. Beatings will continue until morale improves. This is ridiculous, guys. This is ridiculous. Everybody knows this is clearly punishment for Sophie Cunningham. Chloe Peterson was the first to report on it. She said, Sophie Cunningham is questionable with a right elbow injury for tomorrow's game. She participated in the portion of practice open to the media this morning. Okay. And everybody knows every comment is that this is punishment. Look here, Sophie being put in timeout for speaking what's on her mind. Okay, punishment for inbound passing to Caitlin Clark instead of Kelsey Mitchell. Stephanie White needs to go. Okay, did it happen on the drawn up play at the end? This organization is like the mafia. So everyone knows, it's clear as day that this is punishment for Sophie Cunningham. It's very, very, very obvious that this is punishment for Sophie Cunningham. The organization is a straight up clown show at this point. And then not only that, they have not addressed the smear campaign. They've gone out of their way to address any and everything else. They refuse to address the smear campaign led by Dan Dockich, who has been adamant about he's getting this information from the inside. Not only have they not addressed that, and he doubled down on it today. Dan Dockich was bombing again today.
Suspending a high-profile veteran coach like Cheryl Reeve risks triggering an internal power struggle among the league's established personnel, creating an intense dilemma for top management as public scrutiny intensifies. Share your raw, unfiltered thoughts in the comments below. Was Stephen A. Smith justified in calling out Cheryl Reeve on live television? And should the WNBA honor Caitlin Clark's reported demands for an immediate suspension? Drop a like to support Clark and Cunningham. Share this video to keep the momentum going, and hit that subscribe button for full coverage on breaking WNBA updates.
More than anything, educate, and there are some things that, we have in common and maybe some things you differ on, just like any issues. And I think it's how you handle things. And so...
You can pause it right there. I want you to now watch what Caitlin Clark's nice coach had to say when she was questioned. This is Caitlin Clark's coach. Okay, go for it.
Your stance on men or athletes who test as biological male participating in women's sports. What's your personal...
Let's watch her answer.
Yeah, I don't know that I would say that I'm educated enough from a scientific standpoint. I don't ever believe that exclusion is an answer. I just don't.
Oh my... No, but wait a minute. You got to keep playing it. Is this the only clip we have? Oh, okay.
I think that's it.
Because she says, I used to play with men when I was a kid. I always played with men when I was a kid. And she answers the question like, I'm not a scientist. I'm not this. I'm not that. And then the game's being played yesterday. Sophie Cunningham gets hit in the face by an elbow that pretty much almost like massive foul. They called the foul on
it's a defensive
on
foul.
her. I don't even know if we can even play this clip or not. If you can see it, but it right there, elbowed in the face. Look at that. Right, do it again.
Whose
on the
fault
elbow.
is that?
Elbow in the face like that. And guess who got the foul? She got the foul, not the girl that went through this. So, Vinny, again, every time you think common sense is making a comeback, they do something like this. How do you react to this story?
And I know Adam's been very passionate about it. And every time Adam was like, I was kind of like in my head, like, give him a chance. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I think it's time to get rid of the WNBA, period, full stop, and I'm dead serious. Okay, I'm sick and tired of them using this. No, Adam, I'm dead serious. Like, they're hemorrhaging money every single year. Every year, how much money they're losing? To $40 million, and they keep it afloat. And I'm sick and tired of this nonsense, this trans nonsense that keeps coming up. Right when you think it's over, it keeps coming back up like like resurfacing like a damn submarine. And in regard to her shirt, trans kids belong where? In the opposite sex bathroom, you know, or in a clinic getting injected with puberty blockers, or their breasts getting taken off. You know where trans kids belong? In therapy. Okay, they belong in therapy to find out what happened. Okay, how did you get to this mindset? Who talked to you? Were you on TikTok? Okay, were you talking to, who was influencing you to try to make you feel the way that you do? Okay, that's what we need when it comes to these trans kids, and they belong. Okay, the last thing we need is encouragement from this.
This critical turning point reportedly froze the WNBA leadership in place, as Caitlin Clark, the marquee superstar driving league-wide viewership and revenue, met directly with top executives to deliver a firm ultimatum: issue an immediate, full suspension to Cheryl Reeve. Clark made her position clear, warning league officials that permitting veteran coaches with a history of disciplinary actions to foster hostility against players like Sophie Cunningham risks destroying the sport's credibility. Exposing what she characterized as institutional double standards, Clark noted that any athlete engaging in comparable behavior would face severe financial penalties and immediate bans, leaving the front office facing a potential player revolt if they allow corrupt practices to jeopardize player well-being. With league leadership in total panic mode and no clear response, ignoring the combined pressure from Clark and Stephen A. Smith risks alienating the game's biggest attraction and confirming widespread accusations of structural corruption.
And that involves a WNBA coach. Her name is Cheryl Reeve. She's a coach in the WNBA. She is the coach of the Minnesota Lynx. And during this weekend, in a game against the Indiana Fever, she was seen wearing a trans kid belong t-shirt.
Why was she suspended? Because her conduct completely crossed the line, earning an official WNBA disciplinary penalty for aggressively pursuing and verbally abusing game officials, refusing to exit the court in a timely manner, and directing inappropriate comments toward arena spectators. This documented history of league-sanctioned outbursts demonstrates a pattern of fiery volatility when outcomes don't go her way, validating Stephen A. Smith's broadcast critique that personal pride was being prioritized over the sport's integrity. However, attempting to undermine Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham immediately backfired when Caitlin Clark stepped in. Unwilling to watch her closest teammate face unnecessary hostility, Clark translated their tight-knit off-court bond into decisive leadership. Instead of releasing standard public relations statements, Clark took direct action, approaching top WNBA executives to demand full league accountability and decisive intervention against the hostile environment.
You can't be a male, born a male, transitioning to female, and think that you should have the right to compete with women. Not in basketball, not in football, not in boxing, not in the UFC. Hell, not even in tennis. It's an aberration when you find somebody like a Serena Williams serving 120 miles, 25 miles an hour. That's ordinary for Jokic or Djokovic. That's ordinary for Sinner. That's ordinary for Alcaraz. That was ordinary for Sampras, Agassi, and all of these guys.
Don't skip a single second, because we are diving straight into Stephen A. Smith's explosive rant, the receipts on Cheryl Reeve's fiery history, Caitlin Clark's massive ultimatum, and why the WNBA has no answer for the chaos unfolding right now. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and let's dissect the drama. The sports world is reeling after Stephen A. Smith unleashed a fiery broadcast addressing the tense atmosphere surrounding the league. With high-profile coverage centered on Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham, Stephen A. targeted his criticism toward Minnesota Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve, accusing her of exacerbating off-court noise rather than insulating players from external distractions. Visibly impassioned, he argued on air that leaders must protect the league's talent instead of letting personal rivalries overshadow the game, pointing out that opposing teams cannot easily disrupt Clark's on-court execution and are instead targeting her teammates' focus. Beyond the recent broadcast debates, Head coach Cheryl Reeves' competitive intensity has drawn official league scrutiny before, most notably during the late 2025 postseason when the WNBA issued her a one-game suspension following a heated late-game official confrontation in the semifinals against the Phoenix Mercury.
See, or whatever else you want to come up with. What the hell are you talking about? It's not true. It is false. AJ DeBonza, not to throw his name out there, Darren Peterson, hell, pick a scrub. If you're a male and transition into female, you should be playing against the women. Nobody said you can't transition from male to female. The issue here is competing against the women. That's what Sophie Cunningham was talking about. That's what Riley Gaines is talking about. How are you, Coach Cheryl Reeve, and you could condone that? And then you're going to come out with a T-shirt. No regard for the WNBA. No regard for the sponsors that may be put off by that. No regard for the bottom line that might be affected because of a position that she has taken that you know is going to be politicized. Because that's what you did. No regard for that whatsoever. How is that okay?
Turn your volume all the way up and pay close attention because the WNBA has hit an absolute breaking point. A major sports media powerhouse just detonated a career-altering bombshell on national television, triggering pure catastrophic fallout across the entire league. This was not a routine media disagreement. It was a targeted, high-stakes exposure of professional basketball's internal politics that pushed superstar Caitlin Clark to step completely out of character, march directly into management, and demand a veteran head coach's immediate removal. As relentless controversy plagued Indiana Fever standout Sophie Cunningham spurring hostile crowds and nonstop chaos, Minnesota Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve allegedly fueled the division instead of protecting the league's talent. That prompted Stephen A. Smith to issue a blistering public rebuke, calling out Reeve for placing personal agendas above the entire sport. But media backlash was only the beginning of the storm. Refusing to stand by while her teammate was targeted, Clark took total command of the crossfire, exposed the alleged hostility, and officially demanded a full, immediate suspension directly from the WNBA office. Don't skip a single second because we are diving straight into Stephen A. Smith's explosive rant, the receipts on Cheryl Reeve's fiery history, Caitlin Clark's massive ultimatum, and why the WNBA has no answer for the chaos unfolding right now. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and let's dissect the drama. The sports world is reeling after Stephen A. Smith unleashed a fiery broadcast addressing the tense atmosphere surrounding the league. With high-profile coverage centered on Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham, Stephen A. targeted his criticism toward Minnesota Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve, accusing her of exacerbating off-court noise rather than insulating players from external distractions. Visibly impassioned, he argued on air that leaders must protect the league's talent instead of letting personal rivalries overshadow the game, pointing out that opposing teams cannot easily disrupt Clark's on-court execution and are instead targeting her teammates' focus. Beyond the recent broadcast debates, head coach Cheryl Reeve's competitive intensity has drawn official league scrutiny before, most notably during the late 2025 postseason when the WNBA issued her a one-game suspension following a heated late-game official confrontation in the semifinals against the Phoenix Mercury. Why was she suspended? Because her conduct completely crossed the line, earning an official WNBA disciplinary penalty for